Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. Hopefully it's welcome back. We have a brand new show for you today. This is our 29th show that we have here on our platform. Please go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV, and subscribe so that you can find out all the fabulous shows that we have. Our show today is Dream Believers, and I am Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, the President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer here at our network. Joining me is someone who has been a guest on several of our shows, and we really just hit it off and had a connection. And now she is the guest co-host for this show. I am extremely honored to welcome Sarah Jillian to the platform. Welcome.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. Hi, it's nice to be back on your show, and now it's part of my show.
Yes, it is. How does it feel?
It's nice. It's great. I can't wait to get started with our first guest.
Yes, we have a fabulous guest who is joining us. She's backstage. We'll be bringing her out shortly. Before we do that, Sarah, you have accomplished so much. You've got some exciting projects that you can talk about and some that you can't. We understand that. But you are an actress, an author. You are also an artist, and you are a social media influencer. I can't believe it's like tag. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll bring out our guests.
Sure. Well, I started out acting as a young child, and I went into artwork, and then I became a professional clown, and back into an actress. And from there, I went into writing my own series of children's books. And then I continued back into acting. So that's where I am now.
Any projects you can speak about in terms of your work?
Yeah. At the moment, JACALYN, Dr. JACALYN, I'm currently in a series of films that are being done by Steve Oakley, who's from MTV. He originated the Kardashians and different programming at the beginning of MTV. He was kind of at the beginning of that. And now he's working on a series, and I'm involved in pretty much every film that he's doing, and it's a lot of fun. And actually, we're filming next week a new one, so we'll see how that goes. That'll be fun. And there's other projects that I'm looking into probably taking part in. I don't really want to talk about them because I've got my fingers crossed that I actually do become involved. So yeah, those are the things that are happening.
Thanks for sharing that. And what I love about what you're doing is that you have this curiosity. You're open to new things. And sometimes in life, we really pigeonhole ourselves into one career. We do the same thing over and over again. And you and I have taken different paths. Our guest also has had different chapters to her career and been successful in all regards. So how do you actually know Ananda?
You know, it's actually very funny because I met her many years ago. I think the first time I met her was in a club. I went to see a show at the El Macambo, and she was there, and she probably didn't remember me, but I got into the club because they thought I was part of that band. And I was very young at the time, and it was during the early punk days. And I was always able to get in, and sometimes they'd say, "You're a beat girl, right?" And I I'd be like, yeah, sure. So I would be able to get in. So I know her from back then. Yeah.
It's fabulous. So that's a unique story, I have to say, about how you actually met. So I'm excited to introduce Ananda. So she basically has had an incredible career in entertainment and performing, from punk singing to singing with the Angels, which we all could use some singing with the Angels, I feel. And she's got
So
this interactive community where you actually can participate in the singing, which I think is amazing. She'll talk with us about that. She's also a yoga teacher, trainer, bhakti devotional singer and poet, recording artist, and Love Power, the band dancer. Let's welcome Ananda to the program. Hi, welcome.
Hi. You know what? I actually remember that story. I actually remember it.
Really?
Yeah. Like I vaguely remember you, but I remember the girl coming in and saying, "Hey, I only got in because I said that they thought I was one of you." I actually remember that from the Elma combo. So
Wow. See?
You made an
That's
impression.
funny.
And being like super excited, and it was really funny. We were all thinking it was very funny. So yeah, that's really wild. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't changed much in my looks, but
Did your hair color change? Did you have lighter hair then? I mean, of course it's a long time ago, right? But I'm just wondering.
Well, it was actually redder.
Redder. Okay. It's fascinating for me, just on a personal note, because I'm noticing, and this may be happening. I actually think it is happening for the collective as we are in this great birthing experience that we are on this planet right now. I'm having so many very lucid memories from past and visions of future, but certainly memories from past. And I'm speaking to people that are having this as well. And my understanding from a spiritual perspective is that as this greater light is coming into our planet, we need space for it on the inside. So some of our memory bank has to get, just digested, and we need to see it and kind of just let it float on and leave some more room for the great light that we are birthing into to really, incorporate us, become a living part of our being.
Thank you for sharing that. Question I have for you, I mentioned to you backstage about the fact that this show, Dream Believers, that sometimes people are trapped in a rut. They're trapped in doing the same thing over and over again. And you mentioned that you've been really lucky because you've been doing what you want to do, what you like to do, what resonates with you throughout your career. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I will. And I can talk to both of those situations. So I would say that, as a child, I was a dreamer, as I think a lot of us are, but in my case, I was a dreamer who dreamt it, and it felt like luck to me. I can't say like I made a storyboard and, I was like, okay, vision board, and I'm like doing this. It felt like luck to me, but I would hold these ideas of what it was that I wanted to do. For instance, the B-Girls, the band, we had gigs before we even knew how to play our instruments. Like once we decided to be a band, it was like, okay, and then all of a sudden people were really interested, and we had to like learn how to play so that we could actually do our first show. And things like that would happen a lot along the way, just in this feeling of really, what is your heart's desire? And as I say, like in that time, I didn't, and it wasn't popular, this idea of manifestation. And I wasn't consciously trying to manifest, but I would hold it as such a strong intention. Like there was nothing that was going to shake my intention. And I didn't have the confidence of, like a really confident person where like I could say to you, for sure, this is going to happen to me no matter what. You would never, I was very shy, to be quite honest. I was a very shy person. But yet on an inner level, on a heart level, I had such devotion towards what it was that I wanted to be. And this is like this word bhakti, which is a Sanskrit word, which means devotion. I've always had this with whatever I'm doing. I have devotion towards it. And the devotion is really where visioning and manifestation comes from. We have a bit of a false idea of it in our society right now. Like we think, okay, we say these words. Well, that's really helpful because the words help get our frequency there, or we might vision it. But the truth is that the real manifestation comes from the heart, and it comes from a communication with oneself and the greater reality, however you wish to, name or experience, the cosmic force of creation. So I had this. And so this is what I encourage people to go for, because everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. They just don't trust it. They think, oh, it's silly, it's this, it's that, it's all these kinds of things. But it's always been available, that if we could follow that devotion full on, that we're going to end up in it, because we are vibrational beings that are vibrationally creating the stories that we live in. And that's a whole other discussion, but we are, but from that vibration of the heart. And never before have we had an experience atmospherically like we do now on this planet, where the planet is being charged with more and more light. And I know it looks opposite at times, but the light always will reveal the shadow, and the shadow is not something negative. It is our untapped potential. It is that which we have that is available for transformation. So we can become more of what we really want to be, rather than part of our life force being hidden in the shadows. So the light brings the shadow. It brings the opportunity for this great new creation of ourself. And in line with what this question is all about, the light that we have now on this planet is all about, it's completely about the creation of who we want to be. That's actually one of its main focuses, is that we learn that we are manifesting beings, that we learn this, how to master it, so that we manifest that which we want, rather than old unresolved memories from this life or that lifetime. Because old unresolved memories will always have some kind of fear protection around it. And so it will keep us in a limited state of consciousness. This is the only reason why people do not manifest what they want, is because a veil of an unresolved experience is telling them unconsciously, in most cases, not to step forward, because last time we did this, we got hurt, something bad happened. So not to trust the stepping forward. But a 3-year-old, 2-year-old, you're going to walk them across the street, you're going to take their hand and show them how to cross the street, right? They're not supposed to cross by themselves. But if you become 23 years old and you still can't cross the street, then it's dysfunctional, right? We need to look at our patternings like that. It's at the time of the fear, at the time of the trauma, it's appropriate to hold back and to wait and see how to reorganize this for the next time. But if it just keeps on going on and on and on, which it does, this is also one of the patterns of humanity, then we become dysfunctional in terms of the great potential that we all are.
Fantastic.
Yeah, wow.
That is so true. I totally agree. I think that is what makes you go for it. You actually, I know, because I live that too. I see it's in my head. It goes. It just is like a continuous flow of energy that comes from. Now, it's funny that you use the word devotion, because I never thought of it like that. I didn't know what the word was that I had that was inside there that can push out. And it's the devotion to the commitment that you have to the inside, to that being that's in your capsule,
Yes. Yeah. I'm so glad that made sense to you.
Totally get it. I totally get it. Yes.
Ananda, the question that I have for you is, when we think about each of us on our journey of awakening, and everybody's in a different place, there's still, in this world today, I mean, depending on your perspective and how you look at it, there's still so much focus on capitalism, money, tangible things. And in order to step into our light, we have to view things differently. But yet what's so challenging, I think, for all of us is that to walk in our spirituality and to have a life of higher vibration and more purpose, we still need money.
Yes,
We
we
still
do.
need the money.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that and still be successful as a human being, as a conscious being?
Okay. The bottom line, and this is, perhaps a bit difficult for people, but not impossible, and it requires choice, because we do need to align ourselves with our power of choice, is that, first of all, we need to have a real inner moment where we redefine what's going on in life. Like, what is sustaining us? Is it that money? I had one point in my life where it was so cosmic. I had no money. No, I had enough to buy a cup of tea. And I had a child at the time. And my bank account was empty, and I had enough to buy a cup of tea. I wasn't living in poverty. It was a moment in time. But I remember standing there in my kitchen and thinking, wow, I still exist. Like, I can't, like, it was so freaky that I realized that was what came up in me, that I clearly did. I was conditioned to believe that somehow I wouldn't exist anymore if there was truly nothing there. If there was nothing left in the bank account, if there was nothing like that. And I realized, okay, I'm still here. So then what am I really? I'm not any of those things. I'm not, like, that is not what's sustaining me. And, people go on really extreme fasting and stuff like that. That's also part of the awakening. It's like, what is actually sustaining you? It wasn't the food. It wasn't the water. It isn't the money. It isn't the relationship. This is why we have to go through all these different seeming losses in our life as part of our catharsis, because we have to have that inner moment of deciding that something else is sustaining us other than what our society, out of their fear-based conditioning, has decided to create as an idea, as a reality about what is sustaining us and what we are willing to kill each other for. Literally, right? Literally, almost every murder, almost every death in that way has been over some kind of grasping and striving and something material that somebody believes is taken away from them, whether it's a relationship or whether it is a thing. It's something in a material way. So we have to understand that we have to have that relationship, that there is something else, first of all. When we have that relationship, there is something else sustaining us, and we start to have some kind of communion with that, then we can go ahead and play and work this system as much as we want to. We can have all the jobs, all the artistic experiences, all the, the making of money is really helpful. Like, money is currency, right? And in the Vedic, in India, we have a beautiful goddess named Lakshmi, who is often, she's associated with abundance and wealth. And so she gets associated with money. What she really represents is the idea that she is absolutely full, that there is nothing that can take away her fullness. And so therefore, like, she becomes abundance. Like, it is the goddess. Money is also the goddess. There's nothing wrong with it. And we can go for it. But if we go for it without thinking that that's what's going to sustain us, we're confused, and we're going to end up sick in some way, whether it's physical, emotional, mental. We're going to end up disturbed in some way, especially if we're going to lose it, because the world of form has, one big guarantee: it's going to change and you're going to die. So it's got two big guarantees, the two that none of us like, and so society doesn't like. And so that's what you really need. You need this inner relationship. It can be however you wish to have it. You need to cultivate it. And so when you know what's really sustaining you, and it's fine if it's mysterious, and it needs to be mysterious in some way because you can't explain it all, but then you can go ahead and you can enjoy all of the wealth, all of that. And it will be quite a beautiful experience. And I guarantee you'll also find things to do with it that are extremely helpful for humanity as well.
Thanks for sharing your story also. I really appreciate that.
Welcome.
Yeah. And I just have a comment, and then I'll go to Sarah. I left my corporate career, and I always say, I made six figures every year. I just wasn't happy. I was always sick. So I left it and started doing what I'm doing now. And I also had this relationship with food where I felt like it was part of entertainment. It was part of
Mm.
something else that to me it doesn't resonate anymore. I do intermittent fasting, and food is really to help fuel the engine. It's not
Yes.
about what it used to be. So I
Right.
think to your point, there's it's a journey and we take our steps along that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah, what do
I
you
have,
think?
yeah, I have a question. I know that some people are just born with these, just this inner knowledge and this way of seeing things, and it just
Mhm.
you become more mature as you go on and able to make it work for you. But if somebody is not in that headspace throughout
Mhm.
their life for different reasons, do you help them to become into that? I'm wondering how that would work. I mean, I know that if you're there to begin with, it would be a simple thing, but if you're not there, your job, if you do that, is quite difficult, I would assume. No?
My job, you mean trying to help a person see this within themselves? Is that what you mean? Or
Yes,
the job of, okay, having a person see.
yes, yes.
Well, I mean, you can't force, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can't force anybody, to see anything. If so, in my case, I wouldn't ever try to convince somebody. Well, I mean, I have. I have tried to convince, if a person is like really close to me, I have done that, but it's not, nobody really likes it, and I don't blame them, because you kind of like being forced. But you can inspire people, and I've gone through different layers of my comfort level around what I speak in different contexts. So I would have like different personalities for different settings, because I was like, oh no, they don't want to hear that, and so like, don't say that, and all these things. And now I'm just myself wherever I am. It's fine that it's different, and if you don't like it, it's completely fine with me too. I'm not going to argue with about it. Maybe before I might have argued with them about it, so now if I'm not going to argue, then that's okay. I can just be it. But you inspire through your presence. You inspire, like somebody might just be watching this, and they are that description of a person that you just had. They hadn't even thought of that, but now they're thinking about it a little bit. If they're thinking about it even a little bit, if they have enough curiosity to show up in my doorstep, then I can work with them according to where they are. So in some cases, I give them energetic techniques, maybe breathing techniques or yogic techniques, or even movement or dance techniques or sounding techniques that help to move the energy, because we are vibrational beings, we are energetic beings. So it's really, the greatest saint and the greatest sinner, they all have all the same components inside themselves. It's just a matter of how their energy is flowing. One of them is aware. The greatest saint is aware that they are one with the cosmic reality, that grace is around them all the time. The greatest sinner still has the cosmic reality in them and all the grace around them, but they're just not aware of it. So all we want to do is increase people's awareness. So that can happen through conversation. It can happen through, examining life situations. In my case, I do readings. If a person is at that stage where they're actually open for a reading, then we can go right into the living library of the history of their soul. And we can bring forward the impression that is causing the greatest obstruction to their ability to be able to see that radiance within themselves. So it will be an unresolved memory. It's not past life regression where the person has to live through it, because from this perspective, we're saying you're already living in it. Like you're living in the echo of it. Like the cellular frequency is recreating the same blockage over and over again. We don't have to relive it. What we have to do is realize that we're living in it. And then from that place, we can go, oh, I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to do this anymore. This is a fear-based idea that I don't need anymore. So it is, there are many different techniques, but they all have to do with increasing awareness, awakening choice, because most people really feel like, yeah, I'm making some choices, but I can't choose my whole being into something different. We don't have that training, but it's true, we can. And then some relationship with grace or divine presence with them. And again, it doesn't, it's not a religious thing. It's whatever the person wishes to see that as. That's great. So these three things, once we start to awaken that, then they've got all the tools. It's just a matter of, just like Dr. Jacalyn was saying, it's like, then it's a journey. Then it's a journey, and different people will journey in different ways.
Yeah. Yes, that makes perfect sense. That's wonderful that you give people. I guess that was my question really, was how do you go about it? Well, you've got it. You give them the tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give them the
Makes
tools.
sense.
Yeah. And in some cases they're very physical. And that's an intuitive thing on my part in terms of, unless they're coming to me for something specific, but otherwise I'm intuitively guided to like, oh, they really need to like move their body in this particular way. They need to do this, or this breathing technique would be really great for them, or this recitation would be really great for them, or let's do a reading, and when we do the readings, we're working with the angelic realm frequencies. And so those guides, those spirit guides come, I don't want to call them spirit guides, the angelic realm beings come, and they help to rewrite the non-genetic part of the DNA. So not the genetic part, the non-genetic part of the DNA. So the story is being changed, the old story that is afflicting them.
Very, 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 yeah. It does make sense to me. It totally does. I think that what you're doing, I mean, it's like you're on a small mission because you're just one person. If we had a lot of people, but it's really wonderful to see that, you've gone through all these. I mean, I don't know, I don't know exactly, how your life has been. It's been a long time since I've seen you, so I don't know. But to see where you're at is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic that you take that inner beauty and put it out to the world, which is really nice in a different way. Like, and I'm sure you've done it in many ways, but this is a really beautiful way of doing things.
Thank you.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
I have a question for you along your journey, and for people who are in different parts of their awakening. What happens when your community members, your family members, your friends, they're not on the awakened journey and they are somewhere else, and they're kind of asking, what is going on with you? What, people are afraid. They're afraid of change. When someone's evolving, that kind of is like a red flag to them that, wow, things are different now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, and of course, we've had so much of this over the past couple of years, haven't we? We've had so many families going through a lot of conflict and people and choices and things like that. So what you have to stay strong with yourself, but also compassionate towards the other person's fear or concern. Understand that, like, try not to get reactive in a rebellious way. Understand that they are, from their own perhaps confused perception, trying to protect you. So in their minds and their perception, where you're going is not really safe. Like, for whatever reasons that they are projecting that. We'll say right now, like, we'll just take a kind of idealistic perspective. The person is like a really authentic aspirant. They're stepping into freedom. Well, Nelson Mandela was right. It's not our darkness. It's our light that we fear the most. The planet, the human beings are conditioned that way, to really fear their light. So when somebody close to them is starting to really step into their light, that can start to look like they're going into darkness, because they're going to project that onto that situation to try to stop it from taking place, because they're really frightened of their light. The person who's stepping forward into their light needs to make sure that they actually are stepping into light, which means that they're not stepping into separation. If they start to get into a reactive state that is creating separation emotionally between themselves and whoever may be having a hard time with it, then that's not really the light. The light includes everybody. So we can use those moments to have compassion, to have understanding. In some cases, we have to create boundaries. That's okay, but you don't have to have a boundary around your heart. you just have to understand, you should expect it. That's a good way to go into it. We should expect it. Like, you're going to step forward, you should expect that somebody's going to try to stop you, and not like, okay, I'm ready for the war. Just like, yeah, okay, it's going to trigger people. That's okay. That's okay, because that triggering is actually moving them forward. We don't know their timing, but it is moving them forward, and it is moving you forward, because it's teaching greater compassion. It's teaching greater understanding. It's all, and so that's what I would say. But really be mindful not to back down on something that you feel is important for yourself. I've had many challenges like that in my life, and I've tried it many different ways. So I've been like super rebel about it, and I've gone in all these different ways. But ultimately, the best way is in the kindest and sweetest way possible. And then sometimes, if you need to create some kind of temporary boundary, then you do that. But you have to stay true to yourself, and you have to have understanding as to why somebody close to you might be concerned about that moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you almost have to tolerate what's going to come at you, and deal with what's going to come at you, because there's going to be a lot of good and a lot of bad.
Yeah.
In any changes that one makes. I know for myself, going through many changes, with what I want to do, where I want to go, and just, any moving forward, there's always opposition. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes people react very differently to change. I think some people really embrace it and love it, and some people are, oh my God, you can't do that. Why are you why are you doing that? If they can't deal with it. I think that we're here to evolve and change. That's what it's all about. I mean, it's like, if I was still a baby, I would be really upset. Now, thank God I'm not. I've changed. Like we that's what it's all about. I think that's what life is. It's all change. If every day you wake up, your body is actually changed.
Yes.
Your cells change. We reproduce new cells every day. We're always changing. So why not evolve and change? And I think, but not everybody likes change, I guess, and has a hard time with it.
The ego structure is designed to keep things the same. So that's its actual design. I don't know if you're familiar with this word kundalini. Are you familiar with this word?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So this is, a Sanskrit word again that is used for the divine spiritual energy that in that understanding, it lives sleeping at the base of the spine, and then it wakes up and it reunites you consciously with your divine self. So you realize that God is always with you, and you are of God. The Kundalini energy, which is an upward flow of energy, is exactly the same energy as the ego. When the soul comes into incarnating, it's the same thing. It's the Kundalini energy, but it's going downward. When it moves downward, its whole purpose is to keep everything the same and to stop anything from changing, because that is and again, I'm going to refer to a number of Sanskrit terms. This is the divine Leela, the play of God from that perspective. God likes to forget itself because it's so wonderful to remember itself. And so it's like lovers that, have that fight because the makeup time is so beautiful, right? This kind of a thing. It's like that kind of thing. So we forget ourselves. We come into these little separate people, and then we really believe that we're separate, and we fight and squabble and go through all this angst and pain over it. And this is the ego structure. It's a downward flow of energy, and its job is to keep us the same, is to stop us from changing. But then all around us is this natural flow of something that is constantly changing, and it's what people are really frightened of. And death being the greatest change of them all. So, but it is happening all the time, and so we have to learn how to get our ego structure to be okay with that, to release its fear from that. And I often instruct people, just like Jillian was saying, Sarah was saying, sorry, I'm not sure which name is better. It's Sarah Jillian. That when you wake up in the morning, really all you really need to do, to be kind of spiritually awake that day is just stop and just remember that it's already flowing. Feel that flow. Maybe you ask for, okay, please just take me with your flow today. And you let yourself go. You let yourself go that way. And then you're going to feel like you're in this spiritual bhav, like you're in this spiritual inspiration, this devotion, without doing anything else but that, without doing anything but just let yourself actually be with what is natural. We spend so much of our life force energy being with what is not natural, which is to try to stop everything from changing, to hang on to this person, hang on to that relationship, hang on to that child, hang on to that money, hang on to that food. Like we spend, don't we, as a society, yes, right? We spend all of our time and money trying to stop it when its natural state is to move. And if we would just let it move, we would have everything we need and we'd be so happy.
Very true.
So many great points you just made. I love it.
Yeah, very, very true. It's very, very true. And that's, letting go. When you let go of things, they do come back. Things do come back. Yeah. That's, holding on to money, you're talking a little bit about money. To let go of the belief that you need it, it comes back because you're not, you let go of the fear, and the fear is what stops that energy flow of it coming back. I know from my own experience that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do as well. I was used to getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. I had the best health insurance you could ever ask for. And now having two companies, it's like every day you wake up and go, where's the money coming from? And it comes, but it's not the same as that sense of security when the paycheck is automatically deposited. But yet I hated myself for the work that I was doing because it wasn't resonating with me. I had a great career, but it didn't feel good in my body, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah, it wasn't resonating with the soul. And that's another thing that's so wonderful about this time that we're in right now, and that we will continue to, to evolve into, is that our, in Sanskrit, we call it dharma and karma. So our sense of purpose of life, our purpose of life and the way that we make money, that they become one. So every human being on this planet has this opportunity to make these two things one. That the way that our soul wishes to experience life and interact in life, and the way that we support ourselves financially are in complete harmony. It doesn't mean like in Dr. JACALYN's case, she's found an actual, position where it does that. It may not be that. It may be you're a street cleaner or whatever, but you have this absolute harmony with it on a soul level, like it is where you're supposed to be. And for many people, it will be exactly like Dr. JACALYN is saying, where she's found this position that is actually an employment position that is in harmony with her soul's forces, and it is bringing her income in at the same time. This is available now for people. So back to this initial idea of dreaming the dream, and understand that it's not just a dream. Like every single person is living in their dream, even if it's even if it's miserable. I'm sorry, sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow, but you have that somewhere in your cells as a dream that you're living in. So you can change it. You can, and that you're meant to do that. Not only can you, but you're meant to do that. We're meant to understand that. That's why we're here. We come into incarnation because we have these unresolved karmas. This is why they say, you might have heard of this term of the bodhisattva, which is more in Buddhism. But this bodhisattva is somebody who doesn't have to incarnate anymore, because actually they have mastered this idea that they are creating their reality. They're no longer unconsciously living in their karmic stories. Everything is conscious, but they come back to assist humanity. The only reason the rest of us come back is because we haven't mastered that yet. We still believe that these stories are commanding our life, and that it's not something that's actually manifested up and out of us. We come here to figure that out. That's the only reason that we're here. We're not here to become a teacher, a doctor, a musician, a poet, an artist, anything like that. We're here to figure that out. All the other things are the costumes that we're wearing to help, in the course of us figuring it out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I
Well
guess too, the whole idea of dream believers, when I thought of the name for the show, was that like you're saying, I do believe that each person would kind of come down here from wherever, the heavens, wherever. We're down here on earth, we're born, and we have something in us at the beginning that is the dream that we feel we want to sort of sprout out of us and become, and so it's we get disconnected though throughout our life, I think, and sometimes we do, or sometimes we don't. Like if you're born to be a carpenter, you just it's a natural thing, you just do it. It's just like, hey, and there you're in yourself doing your thing the way you came in here to be. And so if you're an entertainer, you're born, you didn't wake up and say, gee, I'm going to be an entertainer. You were born that way, and it just, you can deny it for a certain amount of time, but it's there and it'll come out. And if it doesn't come out, it might frustrate you and you're not fulfilling that dream. That's just an example. Like, so Dr. JACALYN, your feeling of being in a corporate world and then switching over to something that you felt was more in position of what you felt your life was supposed to be, it's more fulfilling. I suppose really it's anything that's making you feel fulfilled. Yeah. I suppose.
Yes.
And so that is called a dream, because when we close our eyes and we go into dreamland, we dream dreams that we think aren't, don't have, they're not, that's a whole other thing, I think. But I was going that route, and then I'm like, no, wait. No, but
I have to interject. I'm so sorry, but we're out of time. Our next show is starting right after this. And Ananda, I have so many more things I want to learn from you. So I hope you'll come back on this show or any of our other shows. But what is the best way for people to get in contact with you, and who would you like to reach out?
I think probably go to my website, onlyloveisreal.love. So love is a server, so it's super easy to remember. And it has everything that I do there. And it has, an email contact. And that would be a great way. And I'd also just like one moment to say, because Sarah and I started off in this music thing. So I have a new band. It's called Love Power the Band. And you can find out about us on that website as well. And we play what we call interactive music, so that the audience becomes part of the band. And it's an amazing experience. And we're just starting to gig a little bit now that I'm back in Toronto for a little bit. And we have some really wonderful recordings.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. Please come and see us on the Film and Music Show. We'd love to spotlight you there. And yeah. And as I mentioned before backstage, I love your website. It is beautiful to the eye, and there's so much relevant, important content there. So everyone, please do go over to our website.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's been fantastic.
Wow, it's been so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Look forward to seeing
you coming.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye. Bye, Dr. JACALYN. Bye.
Sarah, I'm going to give you an opportunity. It's for you to talk about how people can reach you and who you'd like to contact you.
Well, I'm on Facebook. At this point, you can follow me there. I'm on that Sarah1234 on Instagram. And I actually have a YouTube channel, Sarah Jillian, that you can follow me there. And I have Pinterest. You can follow me there. And I'm on LinkedIn at Sarah Jillian. You can follow me there, or friend me, or what else do I have? I think that's about it.
All right.
Oh, TikTok. I'm on TikTok at Sarah Jillian 71 and Twitter at Sarah Jillian 71 if you want to follow me there, and I'll follow you back.
Thank you very much, Sarah. It was fun doing the first show with you. And for people who are interested in being a guest, you can go over to our website. You can book in for any of our shows at usaglobaltv.com. Book your session. As I mentioned, this is our 29th show for the week. So we are really thrilled and honored. So thank you, Sarah, for joining our team.
Well, thank you, Dr. Jillian. Dr. Jillian, Dr. Jack. I know, because she was confused with my name. Now I'm getting confused.
It's okay. No worries.
Dr. Jacqueline. All right. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you to each and every one of you, whether you're watching or listening on the live or the replay. We truly do appreciate you. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Our next show is coming up. It's the United Kingdom News and Culture. And if you're not familiar with this program, we have our expert correspondents over in the UK. We have Helen Ashard, Ian Pelham-Turner, and also Simon McDonald bringing us the latest and greatest news about the royal family and also about what's going on in the UK. So please stay wherever you are. We'll be back momentarily in less than 15 minutes. Thanks again. Bye.